Hey, what's up everybody? I'm JBFlintlock. In this video we're going to pull a ball from a muzzleloader. So this is the 9th video in my video series on muzzleloader education. If you haven't already seen my previous videos, I encourage you to go back and do so that you're up to speed with what's going on. But basically in my last video I showed the loading sequence. I loaded without powder intentionally because I'm here in my basement and I didn't want to live load. So now I'm gonna show you how to remove the ball from the muzzleloader so that you can reload or just make it safe or whatever. So let's set the scenario. The scenario is you're out at the range, you forget, not even you forget, the gun wouldn't go off. So now you don't know if you have powder in it or not. You're not sure. You always want to treat it as if it's loaded and could go off. So that means keeping the barrel in a safe direction down range. When you're walking back and forth, it's best to keep it straight up in the air with the muzzle, higher than your head. So we're going to get it back to the bench and we're going to address it. Next, the other thing we want to do is make sure that the hammer is down in the forward position. That's how I ended my last video. But so here we are, we have this gun that won't go off, and we've determined that we need to pull the ball. So we either forgot powder or maybe some moisture or something infiltrated the powder. Either way, it won't go off. So I'm going to grab my trusty range rod, and I have a cleaning end on it currently. See if you can see that. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to put on a ball puller. Now this is the one thing that I forgot in my basic equipment video. This is a really good item to have. I'm going to bring it here forward so hopefully you can get a good look at it. So the way that I'm holding it here, the lower section has machine threads, and that is for threading into your ramrod. There's a brass collar in the middle, and that's for aligning in the bore of your gun, keeping it centered. And then the top portion is the threaded portion with coarse threads that threads into the lead ball. So I'm just going to take that and put it into my ramrod, tighten it down. Actually, the one I showed you is a different size. It was cleaner. So I'm going to take my old dirty one. It's for my 45 caliber. I'm going to put it in there, and we're going to pull this ball. Now before we do, we've determined that it won't go off. We're just going to make life easier on us, and we're going to put a little bit of cleaning solution down the bore. This is just a few drops, just enough to wet that patch. That's really going to help lubricate and get everything to come out. One of the things to keep in mind, when you thread this ball puller into the lead, there's not a hole for it to go into, so it's going to make its own way, and what it does is push out on the walls of your bore, and it actually makes things a bit tighter. So just keeping that in mind, it's best just to go ahead, put some cleaning solution in. After you pull a ball, you want to clean the gun anyhow, so that you make sure that it's clear before you load again. So a little bit of cleaning solution is no big deal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip the gun over because I have low ceiling here in my basement. And I'm going to put the ball puller down in. I'm going to stand it back up, and I'm going to give it just a little bit of a downward hit to get it, the point driven into the lead to get it started. So I'm just going to hit it down like that, and then I'm going to turn it clockwise to thread into the lead. And I'm going to put some down pressure on it as I go. And you're going to feel it tighten up in that lead ball. So now I feel that I have it threaded in there pretty good. So now we need to pull it. So it's probably going to be pretty tight, especially since I load mine so tight. The best thing is to hook it, if you're at a range with a roof over it, maybe there's a rafter or something, you can hook the edge of your your ramrod handle into that rafter, maybe, you know, the edge of a bench or something you can hook onto. I have something overhead here. I could just use the edge of the beam, but I'm going to try and start with just myself. I'm going to squeeze the butt of the gun with my feet and kind of hold on to it and hold it against the bench here, and I'm going to try and pop it up and get it started. So I'm going to show you kind of how I like to try. So I'm going to use my legs and hold it up against the gun, and then I'm going to, in an upward motion, hit the handle and try and pop it loose like this. So now that I have it moving, I'm going to try and keep it going, and of course I'm going to run out of pipe, so I'm going to tip it over and pull it the rest of the way out. Sometimes it's helpful to take a cleaning rag, and gives you a little more grip on your ramrod. Okay, there we go. So some solution came out with it, which is perfectly fine. You can see that the ball is threaded onto the, let me get that out of the way. You can see it's threaded on and the patch stayed attached to it. So I'm going to take that patch off, and there is the ball threaded onto there, so you can just pull that right off of your threaded ball puller. And I'm going to switch the ends out. So I take my pliers here and just kind of loosen that up so that I can change ends, because I'm going to want to go back to a cleaning end for cleaning. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because let's just say the scenario is I don't know if there's powder in it or not, I'm going to use a bottom scraper. So this is another cleaning jag that they sell that helps clean fouling out of the bottom of the barrel. So I'm going to put that on real quick, and I'm just going to go down and verify that there's no powder or anything like that. Okay, so I turn, I feel around, I turn, okay, it doesn't feel like there's any powder in it. Maybe I'll get some debris out, which I did from shooting it earlier today. There is some fouling and dirt down in there, which is perfectly fine. I'm just going to wipe it off and go back to my cleaning jag. Now, one thing that I want to stress the importance of: when you pull your ball, make sure that you know where your patch is. Sometimes it will come out with the ball, sometimes it will not. If it does not come out with the ball, then you need to go back in there with either your ball puller or they call it a patch worm, something to go retrieve that patch, because if sometimes it falls back down inside and you don't realize it, and it'll just cause you problems later. So always make sure you know where the patch is. So I put my cleaning end back on my ramrod, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of cleaning solution on the ramrod, and I'm going to swab it out one more time. And this time I'm going to listen for air coming out of the vent liner. So I want to hear that it's open, and if it's plugged or something like that, sometimes you'll get resistance on your ramrod as you're going down with your ramrod, because that air is not escaping. So you're feeling for that, but also you're listening for air coming out of the vent liner. So you get down there, you can pump it a couple times. I hear that air going through there, so I'm confident that it's clear, and it would be okay to load, go back through the loading sequence again. So I hope that this video was helpful in showing you the right way and the safe way to remove a ball from a muzzleloader. And you know, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on my website. It's www.jbflintlock.com, or you can comment right here in this video below. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate this content, you like what I'm doing, and you know, I hope that you found this useful, and you know, I encourage you to share it with someone that's new to the sport and that sort of thing. So as always, thank you and safe shooting.